Live from Innovation Park on the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Tuesday, March 30th. Tonight we'll tell you all you need to know about the new Georgia voter restrictions, as well as updates on the ship blocking in the Suez Canal.
We also have an update on Penn State's first coronavirus variant case, along with entertainment, sports, and a special interview with Jade Jackson.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Madison Miller.
And I'm Gabriella Hornack.
On Friday, College Township defended former borough police officer M. Jordan Pisniak in the death of 29-year-old Osese Asagi. Officers were called to do a wellness check in May 2019 that resulted in the fatal shooting. In a 67-page response to his family's federal lawsuit, attorney David McMain deemed Officer Pisniak fit for duty. However, advocates for Osase highlighted off-duty misconduct concerns of the officers and questioned why the borough did not take the claims seriously. Upon further research, it was revealed that there was one unfounded use of force complaint against Pisniak. However, in the case of Osage, all officers involved were justified in the shooting. More details are expected to come as the story develops.
President Eric Barron reported Penn State's first coronavirus variant case on Friday. Matt Ferrari, the director of the Center for Infectious Disease at Penn State, said the first evidence was discovered Tuesday through the university's wastewater testing. However, it is not yet reported where the variant may have came from. Since Ferrari says the new variant is 30 to 50% more transmissible than the original, there is an increased likelihood of, quote, severe disease from the virus. And as the number of cases continue to rise across campus, the university encourages students, faculty, and staff to continue wearing masks and avoiding large gatherings.
COVID-19 rates across Centre County are beginning to rise, and the number of hospitalized patients is at its highest in the last 6 weeks. As of Friday, there were 89 new reported COVID-19 cases to add to the total of 14,225 cases in Centre County. Although vaccines are more readily available than ever, residents are still urged to mask up and follow the CDC COVID-19 guidelines. Local businesses are coming up with new ways to adjust to the newly updated COVID guidelines across the state, which will be effective on April 4th. PSN News field reporter Destiny Sanchez spoke to J.R. Mang, owner of State College's Cafe at 210 West, about how his business is fared during the pandemic.
Downtown State College holds many bars and restaurants where many students and locals like to go for their weekend festivities.
With the coronavirus still an issue for many establishments today, the increase in traffic has forced bars and restaurants to adjust their daily routines.
Cafe 210 West is still standing despite the lockdown in 2020 and has been able to allow customers to dine at their establishment, all while following Pennsylvania's current self-certified restaurant capacity at 50%. While non-self-certified restaurants are at 25%. Owner of Cafe 210, J.R. Mangan, talks about how he has been adjusting with the increase of customers.
We're fortunate in one way that we have a lot of outdoor seating out front and out back, so I think that's a lot safer for everyone else. And we try to keep the distance between the tables. I like to think of people's safety first, and they have to be comfortable with that. We're just trying to keep it to a capacity, and luckily for us, we have a lot of space.
I'm Destiny Sanchez with Penn State Network News.
Penn State's famous Old Willow tree, located just west of Old Main, fell this past weekend due to strong winds. Shortly after the tree's collapse, construction crews and Penn State arborists reported to the scene to properly survey the area. Cuttings of the tree were taken to be nurtured in the campus's tree nursery by the Penn State Office of Physical Plant. The fallen tree was one of 3 old willows residing in University Park. Penn State released a news release calling the tree fall a, quote, tremendous loss for campus.
Coming up next, Caitlin Green will bring you the latest in entertainment.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Kaylin Green with your entertainment update. The State Theater plans to start hosting in-person events again. The announcement comes in the wake of an update in capacity for theaters jumping from 15 to 25%. Last fall, the theater was used as a classroom for some Penn State classes, and patrons could also reserve a private rental to share with friends and family. While the first event has yet to be announced, it's exciting to see live performance and theater starting to come back. If you're missing the club and need to relieve some stress, the Center for the Performing Arts' upcoming dance workshop could be the perfect night for you. Taught by former Ballet Hispanico principal dancer Rodney Hamilton, the workshop will teach the basics in Latin dance and provide an easy-to-follow session for any level of dance experience. This event is a part of Ballet Hispanico's 50th Legacy Experience and will be held on March 30th starting at 7:30 over Zoom. The session is free and registration is not required. More information can be found on the center's website. On Monday morning, Lil Nas X released his limited edition and controversial quote, Satan shoes. The shoes were a collaboration with art collective Mischief. Coming in at the staggering price of $1,018, the shoes have sparked controversy as news came out that they contained a drop of human blood and features an inverted cross. Mischief confirmed the human blood news in an article by CNN in which it stated, quote, "We love to sacrifice for our art," end quote, and talked more about the process of incorporating the blood into the shoes. Despite the controversy, the shoes sold out just 1 minute after they were released. That was your entertainment update. Stay tuned because after the break, Mike Marandino will bring you the latest from the world of sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Mike Marandino with your sports update. Penn State women's soccer is peaking at the right time as the regular season winds down. The Nittany Lions are on a 4-game win streak following their 2-0 road win over Nebraska on Sunday, bringing their overall record to 8-1-1. They currently sit at number 9 overall in the U.S. coaches poll. The Blue and White haven't lost a game since their season opener and secured the number 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament with their last win. Penn State will host Maryland at Jeffrey Field on Saturday to close out the regular season. Also on campus, men's volleyball head coach Mark Pavlik earned his 600th career win this past weekend. He became the 5th Division I head coach to ever win that many games. Penn State swept Sacred Heart in back-to-back matches and won in straight sets for the 7th consecutive match. The Blue and White dominated both nights, including being perfect on serve receptions in Friday's contest. The Nittany Lions have certainly been special this year, as they sit atop the EIVA rankings with a 16-2 record. The NCAA has been under fire recently after a viral video showed the differences between the men's and women's basketball teams' weight rooms. Reporter Brooke Stake took this story to Penn State's campus to take a deeper dive on gender inequality in collegiate sports.
The NCAA recently faced criticism between the men's and women's March Madness training facilities this year. Images and a video surfaced on social media showing major differences between the men's and women's two facilities. The women's training facility consisted of a single set of dumbbells and some yoga mats, while the men's weight room was stocked with rows of weights and training equipment. Junior Jaden Iseminger is one of the photography interns for Penn State football who works closely with the team on a day-to-day basis, and she feels that the program has treated her equally since the moment she started working for the team.
The Penn State community is really family there with the football team, so they really included me. So I photograph all the practices and events they have during the week. So I go to about the 2 to 3 practices and 2 to 3 weight lifts during the entire week. It's something I love to do. It's long hours editing, long hours, a lot of it, but it's definitely my future and how I want to after graduation. So it's definitely something I love to do.
While Iseminger is a photography intern for Penn State football, she feels very passionate about women having equity in sports.
When I saw on Twitter, I was very confused on why this was even happening. Because they say NCAA say they're a nonprofit. However, they treat the women basketball players and any gender in athletics very different, as you can see. With the weight room, and then with the photographers, they don't have a full staff photographers as they do for the men's. So, and I know a lot of photographers across the United States, so I would love to just hop on a plane to Texas and go photograph their tournament. So it's definitely hard to see. And the power of social media, hopefully we really made a change and all speaking out with retweets quoting it.
After these recent events, women in sports like Iseminger have shown their support and affection to be treated equally during Women's History Month. Reporting for University Park, I'm Brooke Stake for PSN News.
Two former All-Stars found a new home after being brought out following the NBA trade deadline. Power forward LaMarcus Aldridge signed a one-year deal worth the veteran's minimum with the Brooklyn Nets after being bought out by the San Antonio Spurs on Thursday. The Cleveland Cavaliers did the same with center Andre Drummond, who will now be with the Los Angeles Lakers after clearing waivers on Sunday. The Cavaliers have held him out of play since Valentine's Day in an attempt to find him a new home. Drummond had a strong start to the season, averaging 17.5 points, 13.5 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and 1.2 blocks in over 25 games. That was your sports update. This week, our interview anchor Samantha Menuza will be speaking with Jade Jackson in the studio about her thoughts on this year's adaptation of the blue-white game.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm your interview anchor, Samantha Menuza. Today I'm talking with senior and football fan Jade Jackson. How are you doing today, Jade?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight.
Awesome. So, Jade, what was your Penn State football experience like, and what does Penn State football mean to you?
Penn State football means like family and pride and tradition to me. I've been to almost every game, like starting at my freshman year. So it's kind of just like a routine, like waking up every Saturday morning and like getting ready with my friends and going to our like family tailgates and just going to the game, staying the whole time and singing both alma maters, like first and the last at the end of the game. And it's just something that I like really would look forward to all year.
So obviously we didn't get a normal football season this year. How did you feel when you found out that you weren't going to be in the stands for your last semester at Beaver Stadium?
So I was really upset, still am upset that it didn't happen. But in the beginning, I was devastated. We studied abroad last spring, so just coming home from being abroad and thinking like, oh, it's okay, like maybe in the fall we'll still have football season. And I was just really excited to like start and do that. And then hearing like the news that we wouldn't, it's just sad to like not end our last year kind of going to the games that we've been going to since freshman year.
What were game days like for you this past fall semester?
It was very different. Me and my friends were very grateful to still be able to watch, I guess, Penn State football on TV, even though we still didn't get to go into Beaver Stadium and do what we would normally do. We would still dress up every Saturday in our Penn State football or whatever outfits we would find and make, and you know how game day apparel goes. But we still got to do that and just like hang out at the house and watch, and like still did like tailgates in our house. So that was like still fun, but still it's different, obviously different than not being in Beaver Stadium.
Yeah. So exciting news. We are getting some sort of blue and white game on April 17th this spring. What was your reaction when you found out that it was only going to be first-year students that were going to be lining the stands?
So I was really upset at first, like knowing that it was only freshmen or first-year students. But after like taking some time to relax, I really understood why they would be the ones to get to go in. Like they didn't have their high school prom or the end of their like senior year of high school, so they definitely missed out on a lot of things too and haven't been in Beaver Stadium this whole first year. But it was still upsetting just knowing that for seniors that would be our last time in the stadium, so we wouldn't get that, I guess, last thing. But it still is exciting, I guess, for freshmen to go in and get to experience what I've experienced for the last 3 years, because it's something that I've loved, so I would want everyone else to love it as well.
So you'd say that you would agree with this decision of the university to allow first-year students in?
Yeah, I definitely do think that first-year students should get to go in to experience, I guess, the blue and white game or whatever they're making it out to be. But I am upset that seniors or even sophomores and everyone can't I know everyone can't be in there because of the pandemic, but just more like allowing more people to go in, it is upsetting that we can't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. On a lighter note, you're approaching your graduation this May. What were some of the highlights of your Penn State experience?
Definitely going to every game with all my friends. That was definitely like one of the major highlights. Just senior year in general, or
senior year in general, but
or like everything.
You could talk about your whole experience if you'd like.
So also studying abroad in Florence, and then I would say meeting just like a lot of people in different like orgs and even like in classes. I'm in the College of IST, so I found a lot of close friends even in my college that I've interned with during the summer. So I know if I wasn't at Penn State, that wouldn't have been an experience that I would like get to have. So there's just like so many different things that I'm so thankful for Penn State for.
So as a senior, what piece of advice would you give a freshman that's going to be in the stands at Blue and White this year?
Definitely take it all in and like don't take any of that time for granted, and just know that there's a lot of other people that would also want to be in the stands, so definitely just like appreciate the moment, and I don't know, I guess just like focus on like that good thing that they get to have, and then be ready for a full like football season in the fall, hopefully.
Thank you so much for coming in and talking with me today, Jade. Lionheart Fitness, a local state college gym, has finally reopened after previously closing due to the pandemic. Reporter Ava Brett went down there to check it out.
After a long shutdown period that began last March, Lionheart Fitness, a local gym in downtown State College, has taken the necessary precautions to reopen while still keeping their members and staff safe, healthy, and happy amidst the pandemic.
There's a table that's full of spray bottles and towels, and you're required to carry that around and wipe down your equipment after. So from the front desk, I can see and make sure that whoever checks in takes one before they enter. And then once they're in the gym, we do require that you wear your mask at all time. Obviously, if you have to pull it down to take a sip of water, that's fine. But again, when I go around and do those head counts, I also do a mask check. That's part of my job. And if people aren't wearing them at all or this or that, it's my job to give them a warning, anything like that. If there's repeat offenders, I can just tell them to leave.
Despite a lot of businesses struggling through this trying time, Lionheart Fitness has found success within the pandemic.
Due to the restrictions in Penn State's on-campus gyms, many students have looked elsewhere to find places to work out.
You almost kind of feel bad because I know it hurt a lot of businesses, but for us it actually honestly helped us.
Although business has been great, Shelley, as well as other employees, are excited for the gym to return to normalcy.
This is for a lot of people, like this is where they come to like relieve stress or things like that, and so we hate to make it like more stressful by being like, you gotta keep your mask on, you gotta wipe your stuff down, you know, like, so hopefully it all gets back to normal a little bit soon.
Reporting in State College, I'm Ava Brett.
This Thursday, Georgia approved its new voter restrictions that will include an ID requirement for mail-in voters. This new legislation is catching a lot of heat as many view the requirements as an attack on the Constitution. Boycotts are now being called on state businesses, including Coca-Cola products. Other companies, including Aflac, Delta Airlines, Home Depot, and UPS, are being pressured to speak out against the law.
In recent COVID-19 updates, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention reports a significant decline in cases over the past 10 weeks. However, there is indeed a consistent increase in the 7-day average of new cases over the past few days, with 56,995 reported cases on March 24th. As far as COVID-19 variants go, scientists are still researching which variants are more transmissible, could cause more severe illness, or are more likely to evade immunity brought on by prior illness or the vaccination. As always, the CDC encourages wearing masks and following the social distancing guidelines.
New charges were filed on Monday against former associate of Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, alleging that she recruited and groomed underage girls to engage in sex acts with Epstein as recently as 2004. Maxwell has been previously charged with the New York federal prosecutors for conspiracy in grooming and transporting minors to engage in criminal sexual activity from 1994 to 1997. Due to her international connections, Maxwell is deemed a flight risk and has been denied bail 3 times. Maxwell is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn ahead of her upcoming trial.
The Evergreen, a massive container ship that has been stuck in the Suez Canal for 6 days, was reportedly afloat Sunday night. With the supermoon's high tides raising water levels alongside help from 14 tugboats, authorities finally freed the bow from the shore. The blockage caused delays of 369 boats in the canal, which accounts for nearly 15% of world trade. This week-long obstruction caused around $9.6 billion in commercial losses per day as many ships heading between Europe and Asia remain immobilized.
And that's all tonight on PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.